Hi everyone, I'm Jen, and I've had several new people asking me questions, so thank you for inspiring me to do this video. I know I've talked about it here and there and also in my previous channel. So Nelson Mandela is not responsible for us seemingly living in different worlds. Nelson Mandela is not responsible for causing, as one person said, in one reality a picture's fallen off the wall and maybe another one it's still up there or whatever. No, Nelson Mandela's not. That's not him. He's not doing that. Nelson Mandela is totally different than what the Mandela Effect is. Mandela Effect is a phenomenon where a group of people, eventually we're going to find out it doesn't have to be a group, it can just be you yourself by yourself, but where a group of people have the same memory as other members of that group, have the same memory of something happening or something being when history says, nope, that was never the case. So those of us who find ourselves in one of these groups where history does not reflect our experiences, we have two choices. Actually, I don't have a choice. Most people, they disappear back into the familiar reality where, things are as what history says. But I'm one of the weird ones, and I am aware of what this history is, where whatever world or reality, I say world, but I mean reality, whatever world I'm in. So I have now experienced many worlds, and Nelson Mandela is an example of one of the experiences in the Mandela Effect. So Nelson Mandela, for me, died in prison. And for me specifically, I remember this because there was during the outdoor like funeral procession, this is on TV, I wasn't there, but on TV, and excuse me, seltzer water, there was okay, this is a black-white issue. Nelson Mandela was a black man, a civil rights activist. So a news camera was interviewing a white South African police officer, and she asked him, how can we be sure that his death was not caused by torture? And he said, the white police officer said, oh no, we stopped torture years ago. Well, I thought, why the heck would I believe you? Anyhow, I don't want to get political or racially charged conversation or whatever. The point is, I have a thought process that was related to him dying in prison, right? So, and then when he came out of prison years later, it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I did not know about the Mandela Effect terminology, but there are so many examples where this happened. North and South America were on top of each other. When South America was no longer directly south of North America, I chalked it off to that the school that I worked for bought cheap maps and globes. When The Grinch Stole Christmas, the book, when I was older and bought one for my young children, I just thought they rebranded it by putting the word how in front. So whatever. I just didn't know about the Mandela Effect terminology or phenomenon. So Nelson Mandela, the lady who coined the phrase, she and her mom, when he came back to life, well, from our point of view, back to life, that's how the phrase got coined. So there are other examples for those of you that are new to this. First of all, it's okay. There's going to be shock. Then you might retreat back, and then you might find this video again, as I'm finding out with some people. They think that we haven't spoken, and we actually have before, or they think they haven't seen they don't even know that they were subscribed to my video. So I don't know. And that's been from not just based on one person with what I just said. It's those examples happened with multiple people, multiple times. So whatever. Okay, I'm just rambling, but I love you, and it's okay. And if you decide to keep your head up, it is mind blowing. I think that's why God, our higher self, the creator, whatever you want to term it, I think it purposely gives us amnesia to not frickin' blow our minds. And I think it's a protective device. And for whatever reason, I stay present with understanding that the current reality is not what it was, you know. I believe all the realities are real. I also have another theory where maybe, and it's metaphorical, it's metaphorical, that we can put like the toy binocular viewfinder and, whatever rotating disk of images is programmed into us, where God would go, okay, you can have this experience here, because I believe that God, the creator, higher self, however you want to term it, is everywhere and is expressing itself everywhere. So anyhow, darn it, I get off track really easily. So, okay, Nelson Mandela is not the same as the Mandela Effect phenomenon. It just happens, he happens to be one example of it that this phenomenon was named after. Other examples where I have experienced different worlds or realities is the thinker. Okay, I'm in my nightgown, so excuse this, but for me, the thinker was like this for my birth earth, and then was like this, and then switching the elbows from the right to the left was like this, then was like this. Now, that's not the only four changes. His hair has changed. His muscle tone has changed. His legs are no longer perpendicular. The thigh and the calves are no longer perpendicular. It's like his feet are slowly moving up the stump, and whatever. There's a zillion changes. I'm sure ones that I don't even take the time to notice. It's just those kind of smack in my face. Statue of Liberty was on Ellis Island for me. I purposely chose to not go up to the torch because they were was carrying my 1-year-old, and I did not want to go through because a certain part were stairs and not elevator. I personally didn't. I was tired, as a tourist going through New York and then finding ourselves there at, Ellis Island. It's like, I don't want to carry my baby up these stairs. So I chose not to go. Now I really, really wish that I would have gone up. And maybe in another reality I did, but I don't remember it. I don't know how this works. But my mother's boyfriend went up into the torch. So, and then I joined a philosophy club after awakening to the Mandela Effect, because I thought they're thinkers. So maybe, all those people can also see the Mandela Effect. No, they do not. So, whatever. But one of those people that were in the philosophy club, he was up in the torch. So, he's a stranger. Why would he lie to me? Why would my mother's boyfriend lie to me? So, whatever. In case you don't know, the Statue of Liberty is not on Ellis Island. It's on a totally new island in New Jersey, called Liberty Island. And why do people not go up to the torch? Well, no one has been able to go up there for 100 years because we have been bombed. Bombed by whom? Because in my birth earth, it was only December 7th, Pearl Harbor, which that part has changed as well. But, the Germans bombed us on U.S. soil. So when 9/11 happened for me, and that's a whole nother thing, but when 9/11 happened for me with only 2 buildings down, the news was talking about how that was only the second time we were attacked on U.S. soil. So whatever, since we became a country. Okay, so, the bombing caused that part to be damaged, and I don't know why they wouldn't have fixed it, but whatever. So the Statue of Liberty, she never wore chains to me. Her right leg was under the gown. She used to carry the torch on the left. If you all have seen my 1-year anniversary video, which I just did a few years ago, many of those drawings of the black sheep, and people ask, why is it white? Well, black sheep is a metaphor. But the many of the poses have to do with the changing images, like the lady with the scales. Well, now she's carrying a sword, you know, so I drew these figures the way I remember it and the way I experienced it. So Pikachu, I could probably show you here. I have this is for the younger people. Pikachu, for me, this is Pikachu from Pokemon, had a yellow tail with black tips. And people say, you're getting that confused because the ears are black tips. Well, then I was in a reality where Pikachu had a just all yellow tail. And then Pikachu had a brown tip. This one is brown base. Here's the tail. I don't know how well but it used to be black tip, all yellow. I mean, all yellow with the black tip. Then it was all yellow. Then it was a brown tip. Then it was a brown base. Then it was a brown base with a black tip. And now it's only a brown base. Sometimes it has stripes, sometimes it doesn't. If you look at the length of the ears, sometimes they're shorter, sometimes they're longer. I personally not paying attention to these, but I believe there may be some that didn't even have those red cheeks. But whatever. See, it's just one rabbit hole after the other. So if you have any questions on other examples, or if you would like me to do, I have examples with polar bears. Santa Claus used to be on the North Pole. Narwhals, like from Elf, the movie Elf, never existed. I woke up in September 2017, so when I found out there was not a North Pole, and when I met Santa Claus, yeah, I'm a lucky one, I met Santa Claus in November, so I had a chance to ask him, where is your workshop? And when you're not down here volunteering. And I had a little child with me too. And so he answered us that and this is the whole quote, I'll do quotes beginning and end. He says that his workshop is located in the North Pole of Alaska. So he said the whole line, and North Pole of Alaska is one of the, I believe, 4 North Pole locations, and it's always been that way. So here in the United States, we're lucky to have one in Alaska, and that made me realize, oh my gosh, if there's no landmass up there, and Santa's not up there, then, up there meaning the northernmost part of our globe, for those of you who don't remember that or didn't experience that. So then I was wondering, what about the polar bears? And, we were worried about global warming and that the ice caps would melt, and we were worried about the animals. So now that I was in a reality where there was no North Pole landmass, then, what about the polar bears? Well, they do exist. And they live in different parts of the world, and wild polar bears live in the United States. They live in Alaska, wild ones, not just in the zoos, wild. They're also friendlier. A lot of animals are friendlier. That's another, go down that rabbit hole too. I'll finish up with this about the polar bears. Shell and I were on the phone when we realized this. She was my Emmy sister at the very beginning. Thank goodness for her, and others. But so then I talked with my Emmy friend in Croatia, and we were in a 3-way conference call with our Emmy friend in Australia. So when I told them, I'm like, oh, I found out that Santa is okay. He's got his North Pole in Alaska as one of the 4 places, and it's okay about the polar bears. Well, my Croatia friend was concerned about the penguins. I'm like, penguins, they're in South Pole. Well, for her, penguins and polar bears live together. And I was taught in school, of course, I never went to the North Pole, so I actually don't know. But I was taught not only in the school, but the aquarium as an adult, the aquarium in Myrtle Beach when I visited there, and also the aquarium in Baltimore Harbor. They both, the tour guide people, went out of their way to explain that there's a misconception that polar bears and penguins live on the same side of the globe. So whatever. We're in a reality, or the Croatia friend was in a reality where penguins and polar bears lived in the North Pole. So then our Australian friend started laughing because for him in Australia, penguins are also in his country. And we don't even want to talk about Australia because Australia is no longer down under. And Australia is no longer a continent. It is now a country, which is part of the continent Oceania. So I can keep going. I just wanted to let you know that no, Nelson Mandela is not the one causing, is not why we're experiencing, I don't know why we're experiencing it. It's just Nelson Mandela, the man, is different than Mandela Effect, the phenomenon. I hope some of this makes sense to you. Of course, this is all nonsensical from, if you're going to think about it, from how we were brought up. But if your mind is blown, it's okay. I didn't eat for like 2 weeks. I didn't shower. I didn't go out because, what do you mean? History can change. Statues can change. Books can change. Anatomy can change. I mean, look at my hand. Look at my hand. It's not my hand. Sorry, that's probably too much information. All right, I love you, and it's okay. And if you want me to talk specifically about more in detail about something, just ask questions. I've always wanted to be part of the Welcome Center in either museums or like when you cross from one state to another. So I've definitely crossed from one, I don't know, realization of reality to another. So I'm just an experiencer. I am nothing official, and I love you.